Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TNN Raw and Uncut, where you get nothing but news delivered to you with no filter and no script, by none other than Tommy Sotomayor.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to TNN News Raw. I'm your host, Mr. Tommy Sotomayor. Today's news, you see the two young women. I guess I can't really say anything bad about them because they're black women and they're great women. But a story was sent to me via Twitter, and that story was sent to me by Mr. Juwan Bradley, and his Twitter handle is at JTheory71. That's at JTheory71. And he said, two sisters leave the club leave kids at home as they go to the club. SMH, as the kids would say, shaking my head. It gets worse every day. And he sent me this article. And you're going to love the thing that happened at the end, the twist that's going to shock everyone, because we don't expect this out of Queens. So go ahead and roll that beautiful Queen footage.
Thank you for that. It's 5:35, and two women are facing charges this morning after police say they left their 4 children home alone while they went clubbing. Sisters Ashley and Michael Lohr were arrested early Saturday morning at Michael's apartment in Marietta, and that's where police say the night before a 10-year-old, 5-year-old, 4-year-old, and 1-year-old spent the evening alone while their mothers partied at a nightclub.
I think that's kind of immature of them and very unresponsible.
Oh, and all she had to do is come up and ask her where the babysitter for. All she had to do is ask.
Legal papers also indicate the two moms were also charged with battery because they got into a fight outside the apartment after returning from the nightclub.
There go your queens. I'd like to say thank you, young man, for sending me this article. And let me make a few corrections before we get into my take on this. Number one, the young lady who is here in Atlanta, she does a great job on the news here at Fox. Just want to correct her. The kid's name isn't, or the girl's name isn't Lohr. It's Loud. And it's ironic that their names, their last names, Loud, L-O-U-D. You know, something that most queens aren't. You know, because I be making stuff up. The second mistake, to the young man who came out there on the porch, who wanted to say some kind things and some responsible things, he stated that them going to the club and leaving the kids at home was very unresponsible. Nice though. It's irresponsible. It's not unresponsible. Although I guess you could say it would make sense in certain terms when you think about English. It is difficult, and I understand. As far as the neighborhood grandma who came out and spoke, said, all she had to do was come up here and knock on the door. I took care of some kids. She's right. Here in the South, that is kind of how it was when I grew up. The women would just say, hey, drop them off here. But you know what? Those were actually the good old days. I'm going to give black women from that era a little bit of credit, because there was always this aunt or grandmother who would kind of take care of the neighborhood kids, try to rein them in, although it was very difficult back then, and it's more difficult now. But we did have some type of structure whenever there weren't men there. Because I can tell you that if it wasn't for the other people in the neighborhood, who knows where a lot of us children would be. It's not enough, but it was more than what we would have had they not been there. Now to the story. These two women, the Louds, are the type of women that the people who don't like me are protecting. Those are the type of women that are allowing these people to run out and release my address, make videos saying he live right here, release he been in jail, release this way baby mama live, this what the girl look like, this what it did, all of that stuff. They're able to get up every day, make fan pages and say that it is wrong for me to talk about these events. Mind you, they don't complain about the events. They say that it's wrong for me. Now, a lot of people say, why do you bring this up? I bring this up because people like this are called provocateurs. They keep us away from the focus. You may not like the way I say things or the way I present them, But there's nothing wrong with what I'm saying. No one gets hurt. Nothing happens to anyone except the people who act like the people in the stories, because we try our best to point them out and those that look like them. Now people say you shouldn't say things about black women because you're black and your mama black. Strangely enough, these 4 kids' mama's black. 2 apiece. And the 2 apiece of the mothers decided that here's what they will do. They will go to the club. And while at the club, they will leave their kids at home. Because, well, one's 10, and sure 10 is old enough to babysit the other 3. Now they got together, their small brains, these 2 beautiful black queens, got together and said, let us do this. These are black sisters who both have black children from, I'd assume, 4 black men. 2 black women, 4 black men. These 2 black women are siblings. I want to ask you honestly, how many siblings do you know of any other races? Not one messed up and had multiple kids by multiple men, but 2 of them did. See, when people say that what I'm talking about is, it ain't all black women, well, anybody smart knows it's not all black women. The people I would hate to hear from were the people who it wasn't. Because I never run around saying it ain't all black men when women talk about men who ain't shit. Doesn't apply to me. I'll jump on y'all side. But if you notice, most men do that. When women are talking about men, men will jump in and say, yeah, them niggas ain't shit. They don't say it ain't all. Because we don't commune and get together with the lowest common denominator. You try to separate yourself when you are different. Especially when you're a man and if you're trying to convince the women that they might want to choose you. The women aren't doing that. And that's my problem. In droves, there are black women who are out there who are the silent majority. See, the silent majority cannot speak on these issues because they fear the repercussions and the backlash of the Mrs. Louds. See, the Mrs. Louds are just as their name, loud. Which is why at the end of this, which is ironic, they were arrested. These 2 beautiful black queens, mothers of the universe, got arrested for, you guessed it, violence, fighting, after the club, after leaving their children at home. Now you would assume that any type of good parent who just so happened to just need to get away, who left their kids at home, that the first thing they'd want to do after all that clubbing was come home and take care of their kids and get there as fast as they can, not fight. I don't even go to the club like that. I don't know what's so impressive in the club. But the one thing I do know that black women cannot live without apparently is dick. Because black women will go through any type of hell to get dick and attention. And where can you get dick and attention? At a club. So their kids didn't matter to them. Having a stable household is not a big deal. Now what I would assume is since a lot of ghetto hood rat whores like to hang with each other, maybe they can convince 1 or 2 of them to not go to the club that weekend and everybody else give their kids to that one and they rotate the weekend. But then if you're a hood rat whore, you cannot miss the club. Now people get mad at me for using the word hair-hatted hooligans. Don't make me go and act a motherfucking fool again. Well, 2 more hair-hatted hooligans. Don't make me go and act a motherfucking fool again. You about to go and make your boy go get the tool again. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me because the shit I say is catchy. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the whores. But this is why I say provocateurs. Because the guys that don't like me really don't like me. They know that what I'm saying is true. They just want attention. Attention whores like the mothers that they had. If you notice, each one of them say, my mama did a good job raising me without by myself. And you have to come from a dumbass background to do dumbass shit. That's typically how it works. Because if they had real stable parenting, stable parents would be ashamed of their children doing crap like this. They would. But you have to understand, this is the state of black folks. No one wants me to expose this stuff, which is just the news. The difference between what I do what Fox does is I point out to you how the world sees you. I point out to you that there's a problem in the black community, that we don't see what the Louds did here, Miss Ashley and Michael, which I typically like women that have men names. I think that's cute. That's why I love calling my daughter Alex. Miss Michael and her sister were able to get together and fight and go to jail, which is exactly what the Negroes online are good at doing. I am the villain, yet I am the only one who's made any change in anyone else's life. They cannot tell you one person who they've helped, but they can tell you who they beat down, me. So that is why I talk about it. Because it's time for all of you to stand up. So when you see the people who you never see out in public, who you've never seen help a soul, keep making videos about me, trying to tell you about me, trying to tell you about how, oh, well, we ran him off YouTube, but now he got his website and he charging for his website, and ain't no citizen charging for the website, and these people are student up to pay for the website, and blah, 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 blah. And it all revolves around, he gonna make some money. We don't want him to do that. But they've done nothing for those children. See, you won't see anything on their website about those four children who had mothers who sucked so much, literally and figuratively, that they got 4 children, 4 men, turned around and decided they still need to go to the club. Because black women cannot live without attention and dick. So you can get mad at me for what I say. And you can say it ain't all black women. But it's funny, the only ones that have a problem with me are the ones who are like the black women I'm talking about. And it's really sad that these children are being raised by these beasts. Because only a beast would walk around looking like that, acting like that, talking like that, living like that. Those women lived in some of the worst conditions, and you can see they live in the hood. And the one thing that hood whores can do is reproduce more children. Stop asking me to care about how your kids view you when your kids see you. If your kids can get on the internet and they live in the hood, you got a problem. If you got 4 of them and you live in the hood, you got a problem. If you got 4 of them, you live in the hood, your kids can get on the internet, you can't afford a babysitter, and you're leaving them home so that you can go to the club and get more of what you usually get, dick and babies and attention from no good niggas, you go right on ahead. Thank you, brother, for sending me this story. I'm doing my best to get the word out, and it's a shame that more brothers are seeing this and more women are seeing this, and the only people who have a problem are the fools who are just like the women, just want attention. I'm Tommy Sotomayor. This is TNN News Raw.
Beastie's back. Beastie's back. Beastie Montana was just the beginning. Yeah, these Beasties back. All eyes on us, cause we destined for riches. We ain't stunting you niggas, and we don't fuck with you bitches. Nah.
Fucking believable. Fucking believable. Fucking believable. Fucking believable. Fucking believable. Fucking believable. Fucking believable.